The Path to Renunciation of Prince Siddhattha. In a world of constant turmoil, where humanity is entangled in the cycle of ambition, suffering, and mortality, there arose one man who chose to renounce it all. He was no ordinary figure but a prince, a man who possessed power, wealth, and familial happiness. Yet, rather than bask in his privileges, he embarked on a path of renunciation in pursuit of ultimate truth. This is the story of Prince Siddhattha, who became the Buddha, the guiding light for humanity. Prince Siddhattha was born into the powerful royal family of the Sakya clan. He grew up surrounded by the indulgent care of his father, King Suddhodana, and his mother, Queen Maya. Every need of his was met in the lap of luxury. Yet, from a young age, Siddhattha was unlike other children. He was contemplative, always delving deeply into matters that others often overlooked. The royal palace, constructed from sturdy red bricks, stood majestically atop a highland. Enclosed by solid walls, it was not only a residence but a symbol of power, off limits to the uninvited. Near the palace, a vast lotus pond shimmered under the clear skies, its blossoms in vibrant shades of green, red, and white reflecting in the water. Within the palace, life was extravagant. King Suddhodana and the royal family enjoyed unparalleled comforts. Residences were tailored to suit the three seasons: winter, summer, and the monsoon. In the heat of summer, the king often rested under shaded terraces, basking in the cool evening breeze. The palace staff and attendants also lived a life far better than ordinary folk. They dined not on simple porridge or coarse rice, but on fragrant white rice and even meat, a rare luxury for the majority of people. Amid this lavish backdrop, Prince Siddhattha grew up as the crown jewel of Kapilavatthu. From an early age, he stood out among the youth of the city. Draped in the finest silk of Benares, he was always accompanied by devoted caretakers and palace attendants. In later years, he recalled, "I was indulged, most thoroughly indulged." But could such luxury silence the profound questions stirring in the depths of his soul? That, dear listener, is another story entirely. Prince Siddhattha, the son of King Suddhodana, was educated in an environment of great privilege. He frequently attended council meetings and royal court sessions, presided over by his father. These gatherings sharpened his intellect and honed his skills in articulate, precise argumentation. However, Siddhattha's intellectual growth was accompanied by traits that worried his father. The young prince was sensitive and introspective, spending long hours in deep contemplation rather than focusing on practical responsibilities. A pragmatist at heart, King Suddhodana viewed this as a sign of weakness, unbecoming of a future ruler. Siddhattha's indifference to military skills further concerned the royal family. While he received training in horseback riding, chariot driving, archery, swordsmanship, and elephant handling, essential arts for Sakya youth, his performance was, at best, average. This lack of enthusiasm frustrated the Gautama clan and left King Suddhodana uneasy about his son's suitability as heir. In an attempt to anchor Siddhattha to worldly life, King Siddhattha arranged a marriage for him at the age of 16. The chosen bride was Bhattacharya, better known as Yasodharā, a noble woman of esteemed lineage and a relative of Siddhattha. However, the union faced resistance. Yasodhara's father, King Sapabuddha, strongly opposed the match, doubting Siddhattha's commitment to military prowess. To prove his worth, a contest of skills was organized. Siddhattha participated and triumphed, showcasing not just his intellect but his latent abilities in archery and swordsmanship. King Sapabuddha relented, and Siddhartha wed Princess Yasodharā, beginning a new chapter as husband and prince. Outwardly, he fulfilled his roles dutifully, yet inwardly, profound questions about the meaning of life continued to simmer. Kapilavatthu, the birthplace of Prince Siddhattha, was more than a political hub for the Sakya clan. It was a symbol of prosperity. Encircled by a deep moat and towering walls fortified with watchtowers, the city stood as a bastion of security. At the heart of the city lay King Siddhattha's resplendent palace, surrounded by lush gardens. Nearby, the homes of nobles and court officials showcased remarkable architecture and elegance. Further from the center, the bustling commercial districts echoed with the hum of trade. Craftsmen's quarters were lively hubs, home to weavers, goldsmiths, ivory carvers, and spice merchants. However, as one ventured outward, the city's opulence gave way to humble abodes of the working class, a stark contrast to the grandeur within. Siddhartha often left the palace to wander the streets, observing the lives of ordinary people. Particularly drawn to the gardens beyond the city walls, he encountered wandering ascetics, men who had renounced worldly life in pursuit of spiritual truth. Their discussions of enlightenment and liberation profoundly resonated with him. Yet, King Siddhattha grew increasingly alarmed. Fearful that such influences might lead Siddhartha astray, he tightened his grip, attempting to shield the prince from the world's harsher realities. But the prince's heart was already stirring with questions too large to ignore. Why must humanity suffer? Could there be a way to transcend it? These questions, like a smoldering flame, would soon ignite a journey that changed the course of history. A tranquil night in Kapilavatthu, under the moon's silvery glow, Prince Siddhattha prepared for the most pivotal decision of his life. It wasn't just another night. It was the dawn of a monumental journey, leaving everything behind in pursuit of truth. During his excursions beyond the palace, Siddhartha had witnessed 4 sights that would forever change him. An elderly man hunched with age, a sick man writhing in pain, a lifeless corpse, and finally, a serene ascetic. The first 3 filled him with sorrow, but the last inspired a burning desire to seek liberation for all humanity. That very night, as his wife Yasodharā lay cradling their newborn son, Rahula, Siddhartha stood at a crossroads. He yearned to bid them farewell, but refrained. Knowing his resolve might falter, under the pale moonlight, he silently turned away, leaving without a word. Crossing the fortified gates and traversing 3 kingdoms, Siddhartha reached the Anoma River. There he cut his flowing locks with a blade and donned the simple robes of a mendicant, shedding his princely identity to embrace the life of an ascetic. At just 29 years old, Siddhartha's resolve surpassed his years. That quiet night in Kapilavatthu marked not only the beginning of his quest, but the genesis of a path that would illuminate humanity for millennia. Prince Siddhartha's journey teaches us a profound truth. Liberation lies not in wealth or power, but in renunciation and an unwavering pursuit of truth. His story reminds us that overcoming suffering requires courage, wisdom, and a heart steadfast in seeking the ultimate reality.